You're listening to Cinema Red Pill. I'm Sharon, and today I'm going to interview Kemiyondo Coutinho. Hi, Kemiyondo.
Hi, Sharon. How are you doing?
Yes. You're in LA right now?
Yes, I am.
Yes, but you were here for a bit. I just did wrong timing. I think your movie started screening when you had moved to LA more often.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it did its premiere at the beginning of this year in LA. So, but I was there for the Uganda premiere.
Okay, what we're talking about is Kyenvu, but let me introduce you a bit better. So you're a writer, you're a director, and you're an actress. And as far as I know, you've done, the first work I saw of yours, okay, personally, I'm going to look at this in my perspective. The first work I saw of yours was a theater play, Kauna Yo It.
Yes.
I saw that at one of the theater festivals.
That would have been at Kampala International Theater Festival, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's when I saw it. And now you've released a short film. Is this your first short film?
Yes. At the time, Kyenvu was my first, well, I guess it will always be my first short film.
Okay.
Since then, I've done another short film for Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Network.
Oh, yes, we have to talk about that.
And
yes.
then I just have finished the script for my third short film.
Ooh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, so majority of the time we're going to talk about Kyenvu because it's the one I've seen, so I have more context on that. And Kyenvu has screened at multiple festivals. I didn't even try to look up all the ones that are there because I think you are not.
Yes.
You announce like a new one every week, so I can't keep up.
Yeah, it's really surreal to look at the poster now and see all those festivals because I remember when it just had one and I was so grateful for that one. Mm-hmm. And then actually what really happened that a lot of people don't know is after the first festival, I had no traction. So like I wasn't getting accepted into other festivals and it was a little bit of a... I was very lucky because Pan-African was the first festival I applied to, my first short film. Then I was nominated and then I won. So like, it was this unrealistic expectation of festivals. So, I was like, oh my God, this is what it's like, And so I waited and I didn't get any like festivals for like maybe 2.5 months. And wow. I remember even like crying. I was like, maybe they made a mistake with Pan-African and maybe it was just, how imposter syndrome works.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess Kyenvu's run is over. And, just as that happens, then it started to like get accepted into one thing, then another, and then like the other day I looked at the poster and I was like, oh my gosh, all these laurels, which is, I don't even know when it happened because now I'm telling the story and I have no idea when all this happened.
Wow.
But it's a roller coaster, the festival circuit, it really is.
It has to be. That's an interesting perspective because what I think the one other festival I had written down was ZIF, Zanzibar International Film Festival.
Yes.
And the times I've been at Ugandan festivals and there's someone from another country, they always say, oh my God, ZIF turned my life around. Like, because I was at ZIF. Yes. So did you have that effect? Yeah.
The thing is with ZIF is those are your people, yeah?
Yeah.
ZIF was our African premiere. We've never screened it in Africa publicly.
Okay.
And so it was kind of like both worlds because they're Africans, but they're not Ugandans.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting experience because you know how it is. Some stories, you sometimes feel like, oh, maybe Americans liked it because there's this like love of African stories. But when you're screening back home, you're like, oh, man.
They're more critical for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And so to be recognized by ZIF in particular, which is an amazing festival, and ZIF was actually the festival dream festival list
Okay.
that I made before I started applying Kyenvu, and Zip was the first one on my list. And so for that to happen and then to be rewarded, you know, with that award, it was amazing for me. But you know, these things where people are like, "This changed my life," I'm always wary about that because you made the film, you know.
Yeah.
So you changed your life, and you know, luck is really opportunity and preparation. Because I'm willing to bet those people had other projects going on.
Yeah,
and
for
so
sure.
what happens is you screen at Ziff and they're like, "Do you have anything else?" And then you're like, "Yes, yes, yes." But sometimes what happens is people screen and that's all they've done. They're writing the festival, but you know, people will be like, "Yeah, you shot this 2 years ago. What have you been doing since?" And so if there's anything I can ever advise filmmakers is like,
have something
make
else.
Work, you know?
Yes. Do you know, I learned about that like last week, because it was actually a writer talking about it, like never enter a room with just one idea. Have like 3 scripts in preparation. Yes. Oh, that's great advice. That's really great advice.
Because what it says is like, we might think it's a fluke, you know? So like, also why like, for instance, Kyenvu was, I shot it 2 years ago, literally. So what have I been doing in the past 2 years? Just writing on Kyenvu? That's not someone I want to give money to, you know?
Okay. Now, I've read a lot of stuff. I've read of interviews you've done, a lot of the videos in the festival. I hope I'm not repetitive. I'm going to try my best not to be repetitive. For sure, I already know the story of what was inspired by the story and how you were inspired by a true story, and how you started writing about this from the miniskirt bill, which was part of the anti-pornography bill. And so my question regards to that is in writing, because you started with a problem when you were writing this. So I wanted to know your process in starting from a problem and then trying to build a story around a problem. What was that like?
You know, that's the most interesting question I've ever been asked about Kyenvu.
I hope I keep this up.
Because I get always the same questions and I sound like I'm repetitive. So what it is, I in some ways instinctively always write from problems, because I think that's where my calling comes. I like see a problem and I want to address it, but I'm an artist, and the only way I know how is through writing, is through art. And so what I think with this, there were 2 things I wanted to address. I didn't want it to be from the Western perspective. So that was the first thing. I was like, okay, if I'm going to tell the story, there has to be more. Like, for instance, so I had based it on a real story, something that had happened to my friend. I knew that essentially what was going to happen was at the taxi scene. So I always knew that. So then I started to ask myself, well, what else happens at the taxi scene, right? So then I was like, oh, you know, I wonder what love looks like at a taxi scene. Like, I wonder what it's like to be vibed at a taxi stage. And I love the setting of a taxi because so many classes interact in a taxi. But you have to know your characters very well. I usually base my characters on real people. So I choose, who is him in my life? Like, who is that person? And I'm like, okay, he operates like this. And her, I based a lot of it on me, right? So now I have another layer, which is that I'm a light-skinned, privileged Ugandan girl who doesn't sound Ugandan, who doesn't sound anything, to be honest, because there's no country that claims my dialect, because, you know, in Uganda, they're like, you sound South African. In South Africa, they're like, you sound American. In America, they don't know what I sound like. They just know I'm not American.
Okay.
So I had to address that, like being an outsider in your own country. And then from there, I started to wonder, as a feminist, what does love look like? Or, what does it feel like? Where do I fall short in my own feminism, in my own need for love, in my own search for affection? And I just started layering on top of this. And why I do that is because I feel like if all you get from Kyenvu when you watch it is a story of, oh, she got harassed, then I feel like I've failed as a writer. I feel like I've failed the audience whose time is 20 minutes. I feel like I've failed as a director. Because I feel like you should get at least 3-4 things from that film. Because I think that I put 3-4 things. You know?
Oh, that's nice. And in regards to that, because with this, it ended up mixing 3 different things. I picked up on 3. Just circumstances. Yeah. There was the funny, there was romance, and then there was tragedy.
Yes.
So this is in the instance of directing, because one of my favorite descriptions of film is when someone described it as tonal management. You have to manage the tone. So how did you manage those 3 tones? And was there any difficulty while you were trying to manage those 3 and make them work together?
That's very interesting. That I can see why someone would say that. It's definitely not my perspective. I think a scene has its own tone.
Okay.
And I think you just have to respect each scene. So the way I would direct, like for instance, those love scenes, sometimes Michael would come very serious, right? I would say, Michael, you're playing the end of the film. Like, we're not there. Why are you so serious? Like, there's a chick, you're interested in her. Like, don't wash the whole film with tragedy.
Okay.
So what we started doing was just dealing with each scene. It takes a level of forgetting what's coming, both as an actor, as a director. You kind of have to forget about the writer. Those 2 scenes are completely different. The taxi scene and the shower scene are written completely different.
With a different set of mind.
I remember even in the editing room looking at it, and I felt like I couldn't recognize myself in the shower scene. And when I flashed back to like the bright-eyed person in the first scene, it felt like 2 different people. And then I had the realization, like, oh yes, that's what harassment and assault and rape does. It changes you. But I didn't direct with that in mind. I can't say that. I just directed like, this is this scene. Let's focus on this scene. Let's focus on a crush. And so then whatever comes from that comes from that. And in the shower, it's a different scene.
That was what I was about to ask you. The editing process must have been where you could see the jarring difference and putting it all together. Yes. In case of music, for example, is that when you made the music decisions at that point to at least set the tone?
Let me just say, and I'll say this to any person who has never made a film and is thinking about making a film. Your first film experience is like nothing. You'll never have that experience again because you're going on gut. You don't know anything, if I'm honest. And so it's a beautiful experience. You're like, I think this goes with it. You're not thinking, or at least I'm not. I didn't go to film school. I went to acting school and I did a writing course, but everything is self-taught,
Okay.
So I'm not thinking, oh, what tone? I'm just thinking, oh, this makes me feel this way, and how can I accentuate that? That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
And I think that only happens in your first film because the bar is so low.
Now your moves are calculated.
Now I'm so aware of everything. I'm so aware of how it should go. I'm so aware of sound. I'm so aware of stuff like tone and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I think for anyone who's about to start their first film, treasure that experience because you don't get it back.
Okay.
And so I think, if I'm honest, a lot of it was gut. I was like, I love this, what I'm getting. But I will still say that I didn't decide on the soundtrack prior. I watched it and watched it and watched it. I'm like, oh, it needs this kind of a vibe. Okay. And sometimes, like for instance, Lagoon, I sent him another song. I was like, I want this kind of feel. And I wanted to mention certain things, and then he wrote the song. But like Mo Roots, I just showed her the feel, and I told her where I want her song to come in, and then she wrote the song independently. And I made no changes to that song because it couldn't be any more perfect.
Oh, that's interesting. And my assumption was, to be honest, since you have a background in music with, oh no, I've forgotten its name, your music concert, what's it called? Yes, Akadope. Yeah, I thought that was going to be the easiest part of your job.
It was, though. It was very easy.
Yeah.
Because I used all Ugandan artists, and I
Yes.
used all artists that I worked with for Akadope.
Mm-hmm.
And so choosing the song selection was actually very easy. You're right about that.
Okay, my next question, before I go to the theme, because I think your theme is the bit that people ask you about the most. And before I go to that, I just wanted to know if there's anything about the film that people haven't called attention to, which you were really proud of, and you kind of hoped someone would ask you about it.
Ooh. There are like a few things. Like the way I direct, I leave like tiny little messages. One, like when he's watching and waiting for her,
Yeah.
with the shoes, he's looking for the sunflower shoes. There's a montage of the shoes.
Yes.
And the reason it's his perspective of looking down and being like, where the sunflower shoes? And then when the sunflower shoes come, there's a little freeze frame.
Yeah.
And then he knows it's her. But I don't know that anyone got that. But I love it. And I've learned that what you love, the audience is not going to love necessarily.
Isn't that where the whole concept of kill your darlings comes from? Like, yes, no one cares.
Oh, I killed a huge darling. I killed a very big, huge
What darling was that?
So the same time she's changing, he's changing as well.
Oh.
And so you see them both changing at the same time. And it just wasn't working, and we killed it, and it made the film better, but I was very sad. The other thing that sometimes gets lost, but when it lands, it makes my heart feel so good.
Which one?
Is the fact that she learns how to negotiate the second time around.
Oh, no. In the taxi?
Like, 3,000, miss, and she's like, no, it's 2,000. And I think sometimes people miss that.
Yeah.
Because I do love subtlety, but I'm learning sometimes you gotta like amp it up.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's the beginning of their relationship. The fact that she's taken something that he's taught her, even though she was like, who cares, who whatever, like that's the beginning of their relationship.
Okay. That's interesting. In the crowd as in that premiere day, that bit landed. I remember
in Uganda it always lands.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about the theme. So, it has a lot to do with the way women dress and the way men react to the way we dress and the way they think it's for them. So, sort of, it's like I'm reacting to the way you want me to react, which is a shitty concept. And there's this ideology that we all know about how when someone is raped, one of the first questions they ask them is, what were you wearing?
What were you wearing? Yes.
Which is so absurd and so upsetting. Which was the message that I think asked me the most and stayed the most with me when I watched your movie. Was that one of the things you had in mind, and what would you talk about that?
So actually, what I was having in mind with that is, and I have gotten someone who criticized this actually, who said, oh, the character says, because, you know, at the end, he says, we need to go to the police.
Yeah.
And she says, for what? To say that a wardrobe choice changed my life.
Yeah.
And so this person's opinion was that I was saying, I as Kemiyondo was saying, endorsing, like the fact that our protagonist comes to that conclusion is me saying that, oh, this happened because of a wardrobe choice. Now, I heavily disagree with this.
Okay.
Because I think there's a lot about Ugandan cinema, to be honest. I think sometimes what we do is we don't trust our audiences to understand nuance, and like we don't need to beat a message across for someone to understand it. You have to portray real life. And so you can't expect this, yes, we love the character, yes, she's a feminist, yes, she's proud of who she is, but she's also human.
Yeah.
And so what I wanted to do there is to show how society, like consistently saying, oh, what are you wearing, what are you wearing, it infiltrates into women. And then we start to ask ourselves that, and we start to say that. And the reaction is actually for the audience to be like, that's terrible that she thinks that.
Yes.
But the truth is, talk to most women who have had to deal with it, that the first thing we do before anyone even asks us is we blame ourselves.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I have asked myself, what did I do to put myself in that position? And so for me, it was more important to portray truth than to portray what we hope a character would say. And so my thing with that scene is, it's heartbreaking at her logic. But the truth is, that's what a lot of women end up going through. Like, I sat with a friend who blamed herself, and I was, like I said at the screening, I don't know if you were at this particular show, that at 13 I was pulled into a taxi, and these guys were trying to take advantage of me, and I was screaming, and then I escaped. But the first thing I kept saying, whenever I told my mom and dad, like, I was wearing jeans and a t-shirt. I was wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
Oh my God.
Because I'm so scared of being blamed.
I know.
But I can't not say that, oh, because I said that I'm not a feminist. Like, no, that's not how it works. In the same manner, to deal with the love story, I can't say that because I'm a feminist, I don't fall in love with men. You know? And that is something that is complicated, even with me in my own life. Like, it's very complicated for me to negotiate relationships with men because we're dealing with that modern age where even men are, hopefully learning more, but they're also dealing with their own unlearning. And there's this negotiation that is happening. To me, it's more important to portray truth than it is to portray an ideal situation. Because if we portray an ideal situation, then a lot of people feel no need to change. If there is an ideal situation, there's no need for that man to step into the shower as he does in the end. Which is the ultimate call of this film, is that men need to step into the shower, into that messy mess, into that uncomfortable zone, and help women in their fight, whatever it is. Listen to women and help them. If it's wash a mini skirt, get into the shower, fully clothed, it's awkward, it's weird, wash the mini skirt. Metaphorically speaking.
I think one of my favorite bits that you've talked about is how, considering we're in a patriarchal society for sure, and the women's behavior is so micromanaged, but then also they go further to reproduce what the social pressures have told them to do. Because even you grow up with your mother telling you, do not dress up like this. They have it ingrained in them, and when you're at work, one of the first people to tell you your skirt is too short will be a woman, actually.
Yeah,
so yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
In my high school, there was this female teacher who was notorious for telling us to go change our outfits.
Yeah.
But like, why aren't you telling men to stop looking at us?
I know. My next question is really a question because I think it's something I wasn't able to pick up on. What was the metaphor with the flower and the color? Is there something I didn't pick up on? I'm not confident enough to talk about it, so I wanted to ask you about it.
Well, again, you were asking how I write. I tend to write basing on people. I'm actually obsessed with yellow, and I'm actually obsessed with the sunflower. And this is going to sound very strange, and I'm aware, but it's fine. I'm an artist. People forgive. But I sometimes don't understand images until much, much later.
Okay.
So again, this is going to sound weird. I believe the writing gods, or God, or the universe, or whoever has called me to do this writing thing, places an image, and then I figure it out later. So I don't know why I was like yellow. I don't know why I was like a sunflower, but I knew that I love sunflowers and I liked yellow, so I just started writing. But I think for me, the sunflower, what it became was him noticing something about her that wasn't sexual. So him noticing, so she really likes yellow. Yeah. And that's essentially why she starts to talk to him. Because it had nothing to do with what she looked like. He was actually paying attention to who she was.
Okay.
And so I started to use that, like, okay, this is going to be his motif, like how he's going to show her that he's taking an interest in her beyond who she is, you know, sexually. And so then, with the sunflower. Once I establish a powerful symbol, then I'll keep using it.
Mm-hmm.
So with the directing, when we did the symbolic rape scene, I knew that sunflower had to be crushed because now the sunflower represents her, right?
Yes.
So
that one was clear. Yes.
I love to milk a symbol because I think they're very powerful. And then with the skirt, I knew that, like, wanting it to become yellow again is not, it's literal, but what she's actually saying is she wants it to go back to how it was. Like, she wants it to be like what it was before this red came and stained it. And so it becomes this need, be who she was if we understand her as yellow and sunflower.
Yeah.
Before this other color came and changed the color on her skirt and on her life. And so we know that blood is red and it stains. And unfortunately, that is the reality, that rape will leave a mark on your life and it will stain, and you will forever be feeling like you need to wash this mark off of your life that you didn't even cause.
Yes.
You know? And so that's what I was using. But to take it back to this idea about the gods dropping things in me, I just found out that the god Oshun, you know, I believe it's the Yoruba god, Oshun.
I know the Yoruba, but not the god's name.
Yes. So Oshun, her color was yellow.
Oh.
And she used to wash this yellow dress. I did not know this. And she was the goddess of seduction.
Okay.
Can you imagine? And
so
she
that's a connection.
Consistently washed her yellow dress in a river.
Oh, what?
Her color was yellow. Isn't that amazing?
Oh, that was a spiritual connection you had no idea about.
Zero. I just found this out literally at the NBC festival 2 weeks ago, and I was like, she was the goddess of sensuality. Yeah.
Nice.
And she used to wash her yellow dress in the water. And like that's the image at the end. How crazy.
That's insane. That's nice. That's a nice coincidence, I guess.
And especially because like the minister builders, they kept saying like, oh, you're seducing. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Nice. For the record, I interviewed Michael Wawuyo, I think way before your film had come out. And he told me how he really enjoyed your set. It was so I got to know about your film a bit early. He said he really liked it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love working with him.
He's great. Okay, I think I'm going to ask some. I'm moving off concentration on the films to other things. I hope that's okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about the film? And I really wanted to know if you had any direct influences. Is there any film or filmmaker that was a major influence? And more so, there's some sort of similarity in what you were able to achieve with Kyenvu.
I would say, I'll say the film that I saw and I was like, oh my God, this would be so cool to see a film like this set in Uganda. And it's a film called Ayanda. Do you know the film?
I've seen you talk about it a lot, but I haven't yet seen it.
Yes.
Yeah, but I know of it.
Ava DuVernay has this like program called Array, and then she like acquires films. It's really amazing, and she screens them. And there's this film called Ayanda, and I went to the screening, and it's by Sarah Fletcher. I don't know if you know her.
No, I don't.
She directed it, but it was just an amazing film that I found so fascinating, and I found it fascinating mostly because it just celebrated South Africa at the same time that it discussed a lot of the things. And it was so bright, and it made me want to go visit South Africa. And I was like, I've never seen a film from Uganda where I'm like, oh, I just want to go to Uganda. It's always like scary, Idi Amin, slums, and I'm like, So I really wanted to create that. So I would say if there's one film I can really, 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 really credit, it's actually Ayanda.
Okay, that's nice. And in regards to working film in Uganda, was there any, let's say, assumption you had about the industry which you found to either be true or you found it to be false?
What I found to be false was that we don't have the talent, we don't have the people, we don't have the equipment. Absolutely false. There's more than enough people in the filmmaking world that are capable. I was lucky to use the people I use, but I've learned of even more afterwards. Like, I'm telling you, at NBC, I had a really big time editor come and ask me about Peter Muchibi's work.
Whoa, that's cool.
And telling me I must use this editor every time I shoot a film. And so we have a lot of talent that is recognized outside, and that's something I really wanted to do with Kyenvu, was it to be a business card for all Ugandan filmmakers that worked on it, to show that we don't need to import talent. Like, I hate that narrative of, we brought someone from Kenya. Like, why?
Yeah.
There's people here on the ground who can do this work. You know, my cinematographer, Isaac Afuka, is amazing. Like, fantastic. And should have shot a lot of things that people imported people from Kenya from, but didn't. Why? And so the hope is every time Kyenvu wins something or is selected into these festivals, it's a reminder that yes, Uganda, we can create world-class cinema.
Yeah. What was true? What was negative about it? What really sucked about it?
You know, this is a very interesting thing that now really sucks. What sucks is the lack of financial investment.
Always.
From home.
Okay.
Every time, I kid you not, every time I would go to a festival, and I see these other films from these other countries, and I see the government support at the end, like the little symbol, or like ambassador, embassy of this, or department of film, or department of tourism and board on their films, I feel so sad because I'm like, Kyenvu does not have any of that, and it should. And we need to start. And even now, we could benefit from that. And so that's the suckiest part, is that there's no financial investment from people on the ground.
Okay. That, and consistently, I think every person I've interviewed from UG, every time I ask for the problem, the financial part doesn't skip out. It never does.
Absolutely.
I want to know about your experience with the LOL network.
I had written Green as a pilot. As a TV
like
show.
A TV show, okay.
So a 30-minute TV show. I wrote that in 2013.
Wow.
And so actually that was the first idea. And then, you gotta let things be what they are.
Yeah.
And then I saw Kyenvu, and then I was watching Smilf. Brilliant show. But I saw that how they got their show made was originally a short film.
Oh.
And so I was like, I'm going to write the short film script version of Green. And just to show you about preparation, I was prepared to shoot it by myself. I had already had the dates. I already had my actors. I already had locations. 2 weeks before I'm supposed to shoot, Laugh Out Loud calls me and says, you're a finalist and you'll pitch in 3 days.
Oh, wow.
But because I was already getting ready to shoot, like the pitch, it was scary, but I knew exactly what I was going to do with the script as a director. And so then when I got it, we actually had to move the shoot further. But I literally received it 1 week before I was meant to shoot. So I got the final yes 1 week before.
Wow. Oh, that's really nice. You already planned to shoot Green in LA?
Yeah, I had planned everything. Same actors, everything.
Wow.
But then I was going to use my own money. I was going to shoot it on like $2,000. And then, God does his thing. And then you get $20,000. And it was nice to just be a director, like not be the caterer, the producer, the what, the cleaner, It was nice to just walk onto set and do the job that you want to do, just like direct and act.
Is it funny, because most LOL networks or Laugh Out Loud network, Green is a funny
Oh,
film.
you didn't watch it? It's on Facebook. Go to my Facebook.
I looked for it. I didn't find it. I thought they had screened it live and then taken it off.
Go to my Facebook. I put the link. But if you go to Laugh Out Loud and look at the videos they uploaded, they screened it live. So it's now on their Facebook. Okay,
I'll check out their Facebook. I looked for it on YouTube and didn't find it. That's why I thought.
Yes, it's funny. You don't need to shoot this time.
In regards to your upcoming project, you have a short film. You talked about having a short film, right? What is it about?
It's a horror satire, comedic satire about colonization.
That sounds really fun. Nice.
It's my favorite script. It's based in a place called Bar Uganda. The bar becomes a country.
Okay, I'm wrapping up, but I wanted to first ask you, Kyenvu, do we have a chance at the Oscars?
Well, we won an award that makes it Oscar qualifying,
okay.
So I will be submitting it to the Academy. So yes, of course we do have a chance. Listen, if it's possible, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, my last question always when I have a guest, I really like to ask, what's the last thing you saw and you liked? The last movie you saw and liked recently?
Well, okay, on a rom-com level, I just watched Crazy Rich Asians and I loved it. It was just like, what I loved about it is I wasn't like aware, like I was like, oh my god, all these Asians on screen. It was just a story.
Yeah.
And it's so applicable to African culture.
Too much. I loved it also.
So applicable.
Yeah.
And so I really loved that. What film am I? Actually, I'm obsessing over a TV show.
Which one?
That I watched 2 years ago, and then I rewatched the whole season on the plane back from Uganda, and now I'm obsessed again, and I want to watch it for a third time.
What's that?
Which is Big Little Lies.
Oh god, that show is so good.
Yeah, I loved it the first time, and I'm obsessed with it the second time.
Oh
And
no.
so I actually, my sweet spot is actually television, to be honest.
Ah, that's
Like,
interesting.
I'm obsessed with the art of storytelling via television.
That's
My
really-
dream is Issa Rae.
Ah, that's nice. That's a great person to look up to.
Yeah.
I'm done actually. So I wanted to first know if there's any screenings coming up in Kampala for Kyenvu.
I'm going to do more when I come home in December.
Okay.
And honestly, if any organization wants to do one, they just have to reach out to me.
Okay.
And they just have to pay for the seats. I want it to always be free seating.
To always be free. Okay.
Yeah. I don't want anyone to charge people to watch it because none of us got paid, so why should they? Everyone should go like Kyenvu Instagram at Kyenvu at KYENVU.
Yes.
Thank you guys. I would appreciate a like or two.
On Twitter and Facebook.
And Instagram.
And Instagram.
Facebook.
And yes, follow Kyenvu so you get to know when those screenings happen and keep up to date. That's how I got to go for that stuff.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kemiyondo, for talking to me.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
We did it.
Guys, thanks for listening. Follow Cinema Red Pill on Twitter, Facebook, and subscribe on SoundCloud and iTunes. We have a website, it's cinemaredpill.com. Find all the episodes there. Thanks again, Kemiyondo.
Thank you.